Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So Frank Warren did this interview where he revealed a minor detail regarding the split between Alexander Usyk and Alex Krassyuk. He said that this split has been weeks in the making. I then watched the video with Gareth Davies earlier on today, where he said after he did some digging, he discovered that this split has actually been months in the making. He said that he initially thought that it was an indication that Usyk was nearing the end, but he now understands that Usyk actually wants at least 2 or 3 more fights, and that the apparent reason for splitting with Krassyuk is that Usyk now wants to be self-promoted. And what that essentially means is he sees Krassyuk as an unnecessary expense. Now, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, that's terrible from Usyk. How greedy. Krassyuk's been with him since day one, by his side, fighting his corner. He's part of the reason that Usyk has achieved so much success and has earned so much money in the first place. And what I would say is, it's very possible that Usyk is being greedy. It's very possible that he's unappreciative of what Krassyuk has done for him. But it's also very possible that Krassyuk has been genuinely taking more money than he's actually worth for a number of years, and that Usyk has allowed him to do so to get rich as a gesture of good grace. I have no idea which scenario is the reality. Very often, boxing fans get it twisted with me. When they see me endorsing a fighter to the extent that I've endorsed Alexander Usyk, they think that I would never criticize him. They think that I'm some kind of fanboy who thinks that Usyk walks on water and I'd love to be his friend and go for a drink with him and all this type of stuff. No, I'm not a fanboy. I have no desire to know Alexander Usyk or any other boxer in real life or go for a drink with him. When I endorse Alexander Usyk, I'm endorsing him as a fighter, not as a person behind the scenes. I've got no idea what he's like behind the scenes. He might be horrible. All I know is how he conducts himself as a fighter, taking on the best opposition time and time again, usually in the other guy's backyard. Not dilly-dallying and messing around, but going straight for the jugular at cruiserweight and heavyweight. That's what I endorse about him, and that's what I respect. The aspect of him that is a professional boxer. The morals of the man away from boxing or in his business dealings, I've got no idea about. Has he done Krassyuk dirty here? I couldn't tell you. But it's kind of reminiscent of what Lennox Lewis did towards the back end of his career. He cut Frank Maloney loose. He thought he was an unnecessary expense. Similar thing with Gennady Golovkin. Back into his career after doing a big deal with DAZN, he didn't want to cut Abel Sanchez in on the deal. Rather than continuing on with him on a percentage, he offered Sanchez a flat fee. Sanchez was insulted and walked away from their long-term working relationship in disgust. Alex Krassyuk hasn't expressed any disgust about the split with Usyk to this point, if they have indeed split, because he didn't explicitly say in the post he put up the other day that they'd split. It was just strongly implied, which I find kind of interesting. But again, according to Frank Warren and Gareth Davies, who do hear things behind the scenes, they have split. And Gad says that from what he's heard, it's down to Alexander Usyk basically wanting to become self-promoted with his ready-to-fight company. Now, whatever the nature of the split is, whether it's on good terms, acrimonious, whatever Alexander Usyk is actually like from a moral perspective, the only thing I'm really interested in is whether or not this will affect his performance against Daniel Dubois. And as I said in the previous video on this topic, Usyk has been there, seen it, done it, fought in countless people's backyards as the underdog several times against the odds with the boxing establishment against him. And he's come through, obviously. He's got a perfect record so far. You wouldn't think a guy like that would be easily disturbed or could be knocked out of his mental comfort zone. But while there's been chaos around Usyk, there hasn't been chaos within his team over the years. He's had several trainers, Anatoly Lomachenko and James Ali Bashir in the past. But as far as the management and promotional team, it's remained the same for many, many years. Splitting with Krassyuk at this stage, just a few weeks away from the Dubois rematch, you never know what psychological effect that could have. A change in the energy in camp and so on. When there's somebody who's such a big part of your career and there's such a personality that you're used to being around, when they're gone, things can just feel different. Do you know what I mean? It can leave a hole. But the question is, was Krassyuk ever really that guy for Alexander Usyk? As an outsider looking in, it would appear that he was. But behind the scenes, maybe Usyk never really spent that much time with Krassyuk. Maybe there are other people in his team who he's more actual friends with, and they're the people that he relies on to get into his psychological comfort zone in the run-up to fights. I don't know. What I will say is that from a fighting perspective, Usyk splitting with Krassyuk so close to the Dubois fight, I can't imagine is a good thing. It won't necessarily be a bad thing. It won't necessarily have a negative impact on his performance, but I can't imagine it having a good positive impact on his performance. Let's just put it that way. If it has any effect at all, and it might have none, but if it has some type of effect, I would imagine it would be a detrimental effect. Anyway, just a few weeks away from the fight. We'll see how Usyk performs. And of course, if he loses to Dubois, we can't necessarily blame it on the split with Krassyuk. That'll be just more speculation post-fight, the same way we're speculating pre-fight. It's an interesting thing to contemplate though. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.